Hello and welcome to SAS video tutorial. Now we would be reading the SAS datasets. Our objectives would be to define the business scenario that will be used when reading from a data source to create a SAS dataset. We will use SAS data step to create a SAS dataset from an existing SAS dataset. We also will subset observations with a where statement, and we are going to create a new variable with an assignment statement. Information about Ornistar US and Australian sales employees is currently stored in SAS dataset, an Excel spreadsheet, and a raw data file. To create a new dataset, we start with an existing data source known as input data. Your input data might be SAS dataset or a raw data file. Our input data could also be a Microsoft Excel worksheet if we have a license for the appropriate SAS access engine. A data step reads the input data and creates a new SAS dataset. Business scenario part 1. Read an existing SAS dataset to create a new dataset. The new dataset should include only the observations for the Australian sales employees. This data step creates a temporary dataset named work.subset1. It reads the existing dataset orient.sales and uses a where statement to subset the input observations. Let's look at each statement in more detail. A data statement starts the data step and names the data set being created. In this program, the data step creates a temporary data set named subset1 in the work library. A data step can create a permanent data set by storing the new data set in a permanent library. For example, orient.subset1. Set statement reads from an existing SAS dataset. The dataset can be temporary or permanent. In this case, we want to read the permanent dataset, orient.sales. By default, every observations and every variable is read, means observations are read sequentially. Where statement. The where statement is used to subset the input by selecting only the observations that meet the conditions specified in the where expression. In this program, we want to select the observations in orient.sales for Australian employees with rep in their job title. Since this is a sales file, any job title contains rep is a sales rep. So let's go ahead and submit this program. So after we submit the program, this is the report that is being generated. And here the data is only displayed for the employees who have their job title as sales representative and are from Australia. So the log file reads 61 observations from orient.sales and it writes it to work.subset1 with the same number of variables. So orient.sales has 165 observations, but only 61 were read due to the where statement. The new dataset work.subset1 has 61 observations. Both the input and output dataset contains 9 variables. This partial proc print output shows the first 5 of the 61 observations in the new dataset work.subset1. Business scenario part 2. Orient management wants to give a 10% bonus to each Australian sales representative hired before January 1st, 2000. Our consideration is subsetting is based on hire date, which contains a SAS date value. How can you compare a SAS date value to a calendar date? We use date constant. A date constant can be used in any SAS expression, including a where expression. A SAS date constant is a date written in the form of dd, mmm, yy or yyyy, closed in single quotes followed by the letter D. Consideration. We need to create a data set that includes the new variable bonus, which represents the 10% of their salary. An assignment statement is used to assign a value to a variable. Let's explore the assignment statement in more detail. The variable may be a new or an existing variable. The rules for SAS dataset names apply to SAS variable names also. The operands can be constant or variables. The operators can be arithmetic operators or SAS functions. A function is a routine that accepts arguments, performs a calculation or manipulation using the argument and returns a value. For assignment statements, the expression can be a numeric or a character constant, a date constant, an arithmetic expression, or a SAS function call. The month function accepts a SAS date and returns the month portion of the date. We will see that and other SAS functions in later chapters. Arithmetic operator. We introduced the arithmetic operators when we talked about where expression in previous chapter. This slide, however, takes it further because it talks about priorities, plus the fact that if a missing value is part of expression, the result is missing. Let's go ahead and submit this program. This is the report that is being generated, where the hire date is prior to 1st January 2000. The proc print step does not have a format statement. Why is there one decimal place displayed? Because at least one value in the column has a non-zero value in the ones or units position. When we view the log, the new data set gets the 9 variable from the input data set orion.sales. The 10th variable is bonus.